Yeah, let's spend a little bit of time on that. What are we really trying to do with assignments?
Absolutely. So with assignments,
they can be standalone projects and they can be standalone work, but they're still assessing progress towards that final goal of being able to do everything that the course asks them to do in their objectives.
Self-assessment pieces, some reflection that students can do, activating that metacognition piece of asking students to think about what they've learned and how they would do things differently based on what they learned that week.
And ask them to go out in the world and be a learner.
What we're really trying to do is we're gradually handing off that responsibility of learning to the student.
And not just take in information, but to go in search of information.
So when you're writing your, as a SME, when you're writing those assignments, think about what do I want the student to know and be able to do.
So skills really should be sort of the emphasis rather than just low-level recall.
They need to be able to show that they can do their jobs, because ultimately what we're doing is training adults to get better jobs and have better lives.
What's going to help them is that sort of understanding of how to solve problems, how this skill relates to their chosen career.
That's really where I feel like assignments can flourish and not just be, and I actually think SME used this with me today, not just be a bogus essay prompt.
Obviously there are good standard classic type of assignments, right? Write a research paper or solve an equation.
But it can also be kind of a jumping off point for really using information and applying it.
And if you want that student to be able to write the best code ever to create a graphic user interface, they should be writing code in that assignment.
Those types of things that ask them to learn about how you do that and then do it.
If you want a student to be able to manage healthcare records and show that they have an organization system and they can go to a boss and say, this is how I would manage your system as the front office person, have them create a mock-up of that.
What types of tasks or documents or things that a student is going to have to be doing on the job.
If they're in the business world, have them create a business plan or a proposal that shows that they can speak the language, they can navigate within the organizational structures.
Things that they could put in a portfolio that they could show a prospective employer.
Keep in mind that it doesn't have to be something that takes place on one day of 1 week of the course. This can be an 8-week project that has 8 different deliverables for each week that are all part of that big piece that all build on one another and build toward that kind of culminating event at the end.
Another thing to consider when you're doing that is, I know that we have traditionally always had papers each week. However, a lot of our instructors, especially if they're in the math, science, technology area, they're not English professors. And maybe that's daunting for them to have to go in and edit for APA-style grammar, conventions, things like that.
Perhaps instead of having students write a report or write a paper, it's nice to have students develop a video. They're writing a paper for a history course. Why not have them go out and actually, interact with some historical, documents, or go to a historical site, right? Filming that, providing a narration, pulling in resources, integrating, both textual and audio into the presentation.
And then use that information either to create something or to share something with other people.
So I think having peer-based assignments where they're having a review or an analysis of one another's work not only provides feedback that strengthens student work, but it also gives students an opportunity to deepen their knowledge and deepen their skill set.
For the 100, 200, 300, and 400 level courses, it is going to vary a little bit. When you're in those 100, 200 level courses, there is going to be a little bit of emphasis on recall and some memorization of basic facts. Obviously, once you're into the 400 levels, you're going to be using the higher level Bloom's taxonomy. They're going to be creating and evaluating and assessing that metacognition piece of asking students to reflect, because that's part of the process of creating a lifelong learner. All of those things can add hours and also add value to the course.